So I'm going to show you a wrestling concept called hand control. It is exactly what it sounds like, but it's a concept from wrestling. When I'm underneath and I've got a guy on top of me, and obviously in jiu-jitsu, I'm going to be turtling up here. But both in wrestling and jiu-jitsu, I'm going to get guys trying to sneak their hands inside. Right? They might be coming underneath the arm. In jiu-jitsu, they might also be coming over the arm. They're not as likely to do that in wrestling. It's actually positionally dangerous to do that if you don't have a submission threat. But either way, I've got my opponent's arms coming in, and what I'm looking to do is actually capture a hand, which is different from capturing a wrist. So if I got wrist control, that's helpful. I can fight against his arm. But if I actually come across all four knuckles here, right? So if I have his wrist, Aiden can grab my wrist. If I have his wrist, obviously I don't have a gi on, but Aiden can still attack. Gi grips with the use of his hand, right? But if I get hand control now, try and grab my wrist, it's really impossible for him to do that, right? And so this ends up being a lot more of an effective tool to use for a bottom guy. And once I start attacking the hand like this, it also does another thing, right? So if I have his wrist, he's allowed to turn and rotate that wrist, which gives him a lot more mobility in the elbow. Whereas if I do this, it really locks his wrist in one direction, which locks his elbow, which again allows me to get a lot more control over that arm, and I can start moving it, which allows me to move from underneath. So just a helpful concept in the sport of wrestling that I've used quite a bit